The border crossing at Torkham on October 12, 2025, became a flashpoint. Within hours, heavy gunfire and airstrikes turned the mountainous frontier between Pakistan and Afghanistan into a battlefield. Both sides accused the other of aggression. Pakistan claimed the Taliban were sheltering the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, the TTP, a group behind dozens of deadly attacks on Pakistani soil. Afghanistan's Taliban government, on the other hand, accused Islamabad of violating its sovereignty with air raids inside Nangarhar and coast. By the time the smoke cleared, dozens of soldiers were dead, civilians had fled their homes, and Pakistan's main border crossings, Torkham and Chaman, were sealed. This wasn't just another skirmish. It was the worst outbreak of violence since the Taliban's return to power in 2021, and it's unraveling an already fragile regional balance. But what caused this eruption now? And why does it seem to be playing into India's hands more than anyone else's? To understand that, we need to go back to the Durand Line, the 1893 border drawn by British colonial officials that split the Pashtun tribal lands between Afghanistan and British India. Afghanistan never accepted that boundary. Pakistan inherited it in 1947, and from that day, Kabul has always seen it as an artificial scar dividing one people. Over the decades, both countries have fought proxy battles, supported rival factions, and accused each other of terrorism and interference. When the Taliban regained Kabul in August 2021, Pakistan celebrated. It believed it finally had strategic depth, a friendly regime next door that would secure its western border. But the reality turned out very different. The Afghan Taliban refused to curb the TTP, which shares ideological roots with them. Attacks inside Pakistan surged. Each time Islamabad demanded action, Kabul's answer was silence or defiance. By 2025, that silence had turned into open hostility. Pakistan's military launched airstrikes along the border to target alleged militant hideouts. In response, the Taliban shelled Pakistani outposts and claimed to capture several along the Spin-Boldak-Chaman corridor. The fragile trust completely broke. The border became a front line. Now, this is where India's shadow quietly appears behind the dust and smoke. For New Delhi, the Pakistan-Afghanistan border conflict is a strategic gift. Every artillery round fired in Torkham or Chaman drags Pakistan further into crisis, militarily, economically, and politically. The Pakistani army, already stretched by internal insurgencies in Balochistan and rising TTP attacks, now faces a new western front. That means fewer troops and fewer resources on the eastern border with India, giving New Delhi greater room to breathe. Economically, the border war weakens Pakistan's already struggling economy. The IMF loans have left Islamabad with limited fiscal freedom. Every skirmish increases military spending, border management costs, and trade disruption, especially at crossings that handle billions in regional commerce. India, meanwhile, strengthens its own position as a stable economic hub and continues investing in alternate connectivity projects like Chabahar Port in Iran, a port that directly rivals Pakistan's Gwadar and provides India access to Afghanistan and Central Asia without crossing Pakistani territory. Diplomatically, Pakistan's image suffers further. A country already accused of harboring militants now appears unable to control its own borders. This gives India a major advantage in global forums. When New Delhi speaks of cross-border terrorism, Western nations listen more closely because the Pakistan-Afghanistan chaos reinforces that narrative. There's also a psychological advantage. The Taliban government in Kabul, though not officially recognized, increasingly views Pakistan as an aggressor rather than an ally. In their rhetoric, Islamabad is now described the same way they once spoke of the United States, as a foreign force violating Afghan sovereignty. For India, that's poetic irony. The same Taliban once seen as Pakistan's strategic asset now accuses Pakistan of imperialism. In the intelligence arena, India's presence in Afghanistan has been limited since 2021, but it's quietly re-emerging through regional partnerships. With Pakistan distracted and alienated, India can rebuild informal ties with tribal leaders, local militias, and even former Northern Alliance members who still resent the Taliban. In the long run, this could allow India to regain some of its old influence in Kabul, influence that once came from massive infrastructure projects like the Salma Dam and the Afghan parliament building. So what could be the fatal result if this war drags on? For Pakistan, the danger lies in fragmentation. The Pashtun borderlands have never fully accepted Islamabad's control. If the fighting intensifies, it could inflame Pashtun nationalism, reviving the old dream of a greater Pashtunistan. That's a nightmare scenario for Pakistan, one that could tear at its territorial unity. The TTP would exploit that chaos, launching more attacks deeper inside Pakistani cities. Afghanistan, too, faces collapse risks. Continued fighting with Pakistan could cut off vital trade routes, fuel humanitarian disaster, and push more refugees across borders. The Taliban's grip on power could weaken under public anger and tribal pressure, and the regional fallout could be even wider. China, heavily invested in Pakistan through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, might pull back to protect its assets. Iran would tighten its border defenses. Central Asia would close its crossings. In short, the border war could isolate both nations, leaving only India as the diplomatic and economic winner in a region of turmoil. Because every bullet exchanged between Islamabad and Kabul pushes New Delhi's strategy forward, a strategy built not on confrontation, but on watching its rivals exhaust themselves. As the smoke over Torkham slowly fades, one truth becomes clear. The Pakistan-Afghanistan border war is not just a local dispute. It's a slow-burning conflict that could reshape South Asia's power structure for years to come, perhaps even decades. But what do you think? Will Pakistan and Afghanistan find a way back from the brink, or are we witnessing the start of a permanent divide, one that changes the region forever? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.